Tell me about Amendment 5 and 6. They're very unpopular redistricting amendments that are on the ballot this year. Who is responsible for funding and sponsoring these amendments?
You know, interesting, Amendment 5 and 6, when you read it on the ballot, it sounds very nice, you know, and it talks about fair districts and who's not in favor of fair districts. But the reality is that the supporters of Amendment 5 and 6 are really the most liberal elements of the Democratic Party. We're talking about people like the organizations like Acorn that have funded this effort over $4 to $5 million to literally start addressing the way we do our districts in the state of Florida. Now, forever, the legislature has been able to draw the districts. When the Democrats were in control, they drew the districts. Now that the Republicans are in control, we draw the districts. Now, the interesting thing is that one of the key ingredients of Amendment 5 and 6 that is really the most dangerous thing is that it really affects minority representation. African American community, the Hispanic American community that has gained so much and has so many seats in the legislature are at peril if this thing ends up passing.
Well, let me ask you a question. If the Florida legislature can't draw the legislative and congressional district maps, who decides these districts?
Well, we might end up being with the courts, liberal court opinions, maybe drawing these districts. We have no idea what might happen at that point. The danger is, and I think the long term on this situation is that we end up in lawsuits. There is no criteria at this point as part of the amendment on how these seats should be drawn. And I think, and my fear, quite frankly, is that something that should take anywhere from a year to two to get accomplished may drag itself out a couple of years with the lawsuits that are going to fly. This really becomes a lawyer's, dream. This is a situation where literally the courts now start getting into the realm where the legislature should be.
What's your opinion on Fair Districts Florida, who I think is sponsoring or has something a lot to do with these two amendments?
Well, that's the problem. That the term fair districts is a very nice term, but the reality is it's outside interests outside of the state of Florida that are literally trying to manipulate, obviously, Florida, one of the most important states when you talk about congressional, the landscape nationally, the presidential. They want to be able to control how Florida draws its seats. And really, that should be left up to Floridians.
So it's basically up to the legislature. The legislature draws up the map of the districts, and the governor pretty much signs off on it.
Well, the legislature not only draws them out, the legislature goes throughout the entire state, holding charrettes, holding town hall meetings, getting input. They have the most sophisticated computer equipment to literally draw seats that meet, that doesn't disenfranchise anybody in our state. Once that is done, it's sent out to the Supreme Court for a stamp of approval, and really, at that point, it's done. The reality is that by now, bringing a different criteria, taking the legislature literally out of the process, we have no idea how these seats end up drawing. And literally, I think it affects the Hispanic community that has gained seats in the congressional end, has gained seats in the House and Senate, in the legislature, the Florida legislature. It will affect African American community. And this is something that, if anything, it's a step backwards. It's not a step forward.
And then lastly, how do you think Alessandro Bovo is going to play into this election cycle?
Alessandro Bovo is keeping his dad at home, making sure that he doesn't get in any trouble. That's what Alessandro's doing.
And you're referring to diaper duty.
That's what I do.